Hello and welcome to my favorite part of the day. Today is Teach You Grammar Day. So I'm going to go over when and how to use apostrophes correctly because a lot of you are using them when you don't need to. So there are basically two reasons why you need to use an apostrophe in writing. The first one is in contractions. So contractions are those kinds of words where you take two little words and put them together, removing some of the original letters, and where you remove those letters is where you put an apostrophe. So we are talking about words like don't, can't, didn't, won't, wouldn't, should've, could've. All of those words are contractions. So contractions are one of the main reasons why you would use an apostrophe. So an apostrophe, if you don't already know, looks like a comma, but it's in the air. So this is an example of a contraction, so don't. And the reason that the apostrophe goes where it does is it takes the place of those letters that you remove. So in this case, the two original words were do, not, and you removed that letter O in not, and so that is where you put the apostrophe. It's almost like a placeholder for where that letter would have been. One of the most common mistakes that I see, even from some grown-ups, are the words should've, could've, would've, because when we say them, it sounds like we're saying the word of, right? Of, O-F. This is actually what that word should look like. So I just chose should. I could have chosen would've, could've, but should've. Because that's actually a contraction for the words should, have. And so that apostrophe goes there where those missing letters are. I often see from some of you guys and even some adults where they write it like this. And that's how it sounds, right? Should have. But that's actually not right at all. It is a contraction and it needs an apostrophe for that second word, which is actually have, should have. So you put the apostrophe where those missing letters are. So that is the main reason or time when you would use an apostrophe is in contractions. The second, and I'm calling it last, reason or way that you would need to use an apostrophe is to show possession or to show ownership. So if you are writing about something you own, and it is Mrs. Ginder's dog. In that case, it is the dog belonging to me, Mrs. Ginder. So you have to use an apostrophe S to show that it's my dog, to show possession, to show ownership, Mrs. Ginder's dog. So if it is the cat that belongs to Jim, it is Jim's cat. It's not a whole bunch of people named Jim. That's not why there's an S, right? It's not a whole bunch of Jims. It's Jim who owns a cat. It's Jim's cat. And so the second reason to use an apostrophe is to show possession. So Jim's cat, Jim, apostrophe S, and his cat. Maybe we know someone named Tim, and he has a truck. And so if we're gonna write about Tim's truck, you have to use an apostrophe S to show possession or ownership. It's Tim's truck. Maybe it's one of you. Maybe it is Jackson's dogs. So I'm talking about one Jackson, and he has some dogs. I know because he showed them to me in a slideshow. So if we were to write about Jackson's dogs were running through the yard, we have to use an apostrophe to show whose dogs we're talking about, Jackson's dogs. So the only other reason besides contractions that you use an apostrophe is to show possession. So we have one person owning something, and you have an apostrophe S. The last part of this lesson is still ownership, but it's when the first word is a whole bunch of people. So it's not just one Jackson, it's not just one Jim or one Tim. And you still use an apostrophe, it's just in a different spot. So if I want to talk about all the teachers' classrooms are empty right now. That's a sad sentence. But all of the teachers' classrooms are empty. I want to show you before I put the apostrophe in. So all of the teachers' classrooms are empty. It's the classrooms belonging to all the teachers. Now, if I were to put it before the S, that would mean one teacher, the teacher's classroom. But in this sentence, I'm talking about all the teachers' classrooms. So when the word already ends in S, the apostrophe just goes at the very end. And that shows you that all those teachers have all those classrooms. The teachers' classrooms, the classrooms belonging to the teachers. I hope that makes sense, and that's a little bit different. So if I were to put the apostrophe in front of the S, it would mean one teacher's classroom, but I put it after, and so that means all the teachers. So if I put, say we have lots of dogs, and we were taking them for a walk, and their leashes got tangled. The dogs' leashes got tangled. So where do you think I would put the apostrophe in this? The dogs' leashes got tangled. Now the leashes, that's not the word we need an apostrophe, right? The leashes don't own anything. It's the dog, or in this case, the dogs. All the dogs' leashes got tangled. So the apostrophe would go after the S to show it's all the dogs' leashes, the leashes belonging to all the dogs. I'm going to do one more like that. So let's say the boys' parents had a party. This will be a little bit confusing. Maybe I should have picked something different. It'll work. So after all this nonsense is over and we can go out and live our lives like normal again, all of the boys' parents are going to get together and have a party. Not just one boy's parents, all the boys' parents are going to get together. So that is an apostrophe after the S because it's all the boys' parents. If I was talking about one of you, one boy, one boy's parents, maybe one boy's parents yelled at that one boy. So it can look, oops, I forgot my S. It could look almost the same, but if I was talking about one boy's parents, it would go before the S. So hopefully that makes sense. The biggest issue with apostrophes is so many people start putting them on any word that ends with S. And you don't do that. Please don't do that. You never did that before. Don't start doing that now. There are most words that end with S, you are not going to use an apostrophe because they're just plural. You don't use an apostrophe to show that something is plural. So if you're going to talk about your pets, you don't have to put an apostrophe there unless you're talking about your pet owning something. It's just my pets. I love my pets. No apostrophe. My pets are crazy. No apostrophe. Because you're not talking about something they own after the word. You're just talking about more than one pet. No apostrophe. If you're talking about your friends, I miss my friends. No apostrophe. You're just talking about more than one friend. My friends are crazy. No apostrophe needed. So if you're talking about something and you're just making it plural because it means more than one, you don't use an apostrophe. So I'm going to have you do some practice today with apostrophes, and I know this can be a little tricky, so message me and I can work through this assignment with you if you need help. So contractions are one reason why you might need to use an apostrophe, words like didn't and don't and can't. The only other reason to use an apostrophe is to show possession or ownership. That's it. not just because a word ends with S. Let me know if you need any help on your assignment, and I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon.